All right, guys, 2 weeks ago, I made a video about our HOA getting ready to foreclose on 2 properties. We've got 2 real bad ones right now. One owes $3,800. The other one owes $4,500. And they will file court papers, and they will file papers to foreclose on your property. We've got one very close to foreclosure. And one of them is getting very close. I didn't expect this, but the owner of the property has sent a letter to the board of directors, which is basically me. And this lady has an explanation. Let me basically read the letter to you and tell me what you think. Dear members of the board, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing with deep urgency and sincerity regarding the foreclosure proceedings initiated on my property for this December. I ask for your compassion and assistance in reviewing my situation, as there are significant circumstances that contributed to this issue, all of which occurred without my knowledge. Okay. I purchased my property in 2021, and neither my real estate agent nor the title company informed me that the home belonged to the HOA. For more than 3 years, I had no idea that an association existed or that dues were owed. Okay, the owner, this lady says that the real estate agent and the title company did not tell her that the community had an HOA. All right. If we asked the real estate agent and the title company, what would they say? They would most certainly say that they told her. And I would bet that in the documents, it says there very clearly that there's an HOA. When I bought my property, they told me there was an HOA, and it was in the documents. So I don't really know what happened. Did she get told? Did the real estate agent and the title company forget to tell her? Did they forget to put that in her documents? I find that hard to believe. Or did she not listen? Did she not pay attention? I recently discovered that all the notices were sent to the property address, even though I have not lived there since 2023. And the unit has been occupied by a tenant. I never received any mailed notices, statements, or communications from the HOA, and this is the first time that I have ever seen the itemized account. So she says she hasn't lived there since 2023. Keep in mind, this is a fourplex. She's a landlord. She hasn't lived there since 2023. So she bought it in 2021. She lived there in 2021, 22, and 23. So she seems to indicate that she did live there. And when you don't pay your dues, you start getting notices in the mail. So she didn't pay for 2022. She didn't pay for 2023. Notices get sent out. So none of those notices got to her while she lived there. And now there's a tenant living there. And the tenant never told her anything about these notices. Guys, so now the real estate agent didn't tell her. The title company didn't tell her. It wasn't in the documents, and she got none of the notices. All those 4 things happened. This year has been one of the most devastating of my life. My husband passed away unexpectedly in this September, leaving me in severe emotional and financial hardship. I lost my source of support and have been forced to sell many of my belongings in another state, I won't say which one, as I prepare to return to Texas. So she's been living in a different state. My mortgage company has granted a 3-month hardship forbearance due to the severity of my situation. Okay. So her husband died 2 or 3 months ago. So all this time, and unexpectedly. So evidently, it seems like he wasn't really sick. So both the husband and the wife didn't know that there was an HOA, didn't know that they were getting notices, didn't know that they didn't pay, that they were supposed to pay. Both of them didn't know. And they moved away to a different state. It's a couple states away. Well, what can I say? If you move far away from your property, it may be very hard to manage it. Do they have a property manager? Is the property manager any good? If they do have a property manager, did they tell them, hey, there's an HOA, you might owe dues? We've got several owners in this community who live far away, trying to manage their properties from a different state. That's hard, guys. That's real hard. Husband passed away. I suppose he had no life insurance then? If you're married, you have responsibilities to another person, to your family. You need life insurance. You need life insurance. Guys, make sure you have it. He passed away unexpectedly. Nobody knew. So she owes $3,800. It's not $38,000. It's $3,800. That's a relatively small amount. If you're a landlord, you need to be able to get your hands on $3,800. You never know what's going to pop up. So I suppose there's no life insurance. There's if she can't pay $3,800, she's destitute. He left her destitute. This is a landlord of fourplex. They should have been getting rent. 4 apartments living in this other state. They should have been getting rent. Can't come up with $3,800 to pay your dues. Didn't know that there was an HOA. Didn't get any of the notices. Look, we have a management company, right? We've contracted with lawyers. They make sure these people get their notices in accordance with the law, in accordance with the rules. When she moved away, did she put in a change of address at the post office? A lot of people don't do that. They fail to do that. They move away and then they don't get their mail. And then she's got a tenant living in there. Is the tenant just throwing her mail away? That could happen. So, she's asking for a pause or cancellation in the foreclosure. Asking for a fair opportunity to bring the account current now that she's aware. A payment arrangement. A formal review of the mailing issue and lack of disclosure at purchase. I cannot influence, our board can't influence the real estate agent or the title company. We don't have anything to do with them. She said, I have never intentionally failed to pay any obligation. Had I known an HOA existed, I would have paid immediately and maintained communication. I respectfully ask the board to consider this unique and difficult circumstances surrounding this situation. The thing is, guys, everyone has a unique situation. Everyone has a reason not to pay. Everyone. Even if I wanted to help her, I can't. We have a contract with the lawyers. They've been working on this case, right? It's been a long time. She hasn't paid in a long time. She never paid. It takes a long time to get to the foreclosure part. It's not easy. The lawyers have been working on it. I can't go back now and say, "Oh, we're not going to foreclose." You know, we're gonna. I can't interfere with the lawyers' work. They've been working on this. I can't. There's nothing I can do as a board member. You know, if this had come to her attention before it went to the lawyer, we could have worked with her. If she'd paid attention, I find it hard to believe that in so many ways she could have found out about this HOA, but she just didn't know. Now maybe it was her husband. Maybe her husband managed all of those things. But guys, how can we help her? We can't. We can't. We just can't. And I'm sorry. The HOA, we have to get our money. If we don't, you know, if we accept everyone's excuses, then the community goes down the toilet. It really does. We don't get any money. We can't do anything. We can't clean anything. We can't fix anything. Nothing gets done. You know, I don't believe a lot of the stuff in this letter. I don't. You know, I'm sorry, but it's $3,800. A landlord should be able to come up with $3,800. And there's no life insurance. He dies and there's no life insurance. You leave her destitute. So for those reasons, we can't help. We cannot help. The contract with the lawyers. This letter has so many things that are unbelievable. This is what happens, guys. This is what happens. Don't get into this position. Now she'll pay. She'll come up with $3,800 somehow. She won't let herself lose her property over $3,800. She won't. And to be truthful, we don't want her property. We don't want it. We want the dues. We wanted them a long time ago. Just, you know, sometimes we get owners like this. You know, I don't know what happened. But the notices went out according to the rules, according to the law. Like I said, we have a management company. We have lawyers that do this legally. And if she didn't get the notices, she didn't get the letters, or her husband ignored it, I don't know what happened. You know, I'm sorry. But, you know, we can't let her problems become our problems. You know, if you try to go back on this and work with her, when is it going to get paid? When? How much longer? Sorry, guys. It's you know, it's tragic, but pay your HOA dues. If you buy a property in a community, hey, is there an HOA? Look around. If it looks like it has some common areas, a perimeter fence, someone pays for that. Does it have an HOA? Pay attention to your title company, to your real estate agent, to your closing documents. Pay attention. Does it have an HOA? Find out. Don't let this happen to you. All right, guys. Take care.